TJ Hunt has been around on the YouTube car guy space for years now, and for most of us, he's had a pretty positive impact on us, and over those years, he has managed to gain a pretty large collection of all very unique and very cool looking cars. I am Mark Roden, and today we will be ranking all of TJ Hunt's car collection from worst to best, and then saying how much I think the total value of his cars are. So, this is all obviously personal opinion. I am not saying that these are actually his best cars out there. This is from what I like the best. But TJ Hunt has 16 different cars, not including his dirt bikes and motorcycles and other small little toys. But coming in at last place for me is his Polaris XP Pro. This is obviously not my style at all, really, but I can totally see how somebody can manage to have fun in this thing. It does look pretty fun. I'd love to take one of these out once. I just probably wouldn't buy it myself. After doing some research, because to be honest, I have no idea the market on these vehicles, I'd say that TJ's is worth right around $20,000, give or take. Next up at number 15 is probably going to surprise you guys a little bit if you watch this channel regularly, and that's because it is his Florida Z, which is an HR Nissan 350Z that he uses whenever he goes out to Florida to hang out with Sir Adam LZ and go drifting. It is a beater car that is completely bone stock besides some suspension pieces, and most of his cars have been built to be something absolutely amazing, so to put a beater car any higher just doesn't make any sense, even though I do absolutely love the 350Z. But at the end of the day, this is a beat up bone stock 350Z. It's really nothing compared to the rest of his fleet. So I'll say it's worth $7,000 because prices for the HR's 350Zs are stupidly insane anyway though. Coming in at number 14 is going to be his BMW M3 E90. This is his newest car to the fleet. Actually, it's only like a week old now, so it's very hard to tell where this car is going to go, but as it currently sits, it's pretty much bone stock, so I can't really compare it to his other cars like the 350Z that we just talked about. I like these, both those cars are bone stock cars, so compared to his other stuff, it's nothing really. I really do have high hopes for the build. It's going to be cool to see him build a BMW. We never have before, but right now it's just another E90 M3. I'd say it's right around $30,000. These M3s don't lose value that much. They stay kind of high, but I'm not 100% sure. Next up in the number 13 spot is his absolute workhorse, the Chevy Silverado 2500 HD. This is a diesel Chevy truck that he uses whenever he has to tow his cars around and tow them to the track and stuff like that. And I think he also uses it as a daily most of the time, or maybe Sabrina uses it, I don't know. But I actually really think his is beautiful. I'm not the biggest truck guy whatsoever, honestly. However, if I were to get one, this would be the one I'd want. It looks really nice, it's simple, and it gets the job done. I'm going to value it at right around $50,000 because trucks are dumb money, like stupid money. It could be even more than that. Coming in at number 12 is going to be his second generation Subaru BRZ. I want to make it clear that I 100% understand that he has huge plans for this car in the future, but as it sits right now, this thing is kind of boring compared to the rest of his cars. On top of that, I really like the looks of the first generation BRZs much better than I like the looks of the second generation, so I really just honestly can't put it that much higher. They are brand spanking new though, so they're obviously still going to hold some value, so I'm going to say it's worth right around $35,000, which is actually not a horrible deal for a new sports car in 2022. If you were looking for something that's like that, BRZ second gen might be a good idea for you. Next up is going to be his wonderful Nissan 370Z. This is once again a car that, kind of like the Florida Nissan that we talked about earlier, is kind of just a beater. But this one he has put more love and money into for sure, and on top of that, they're faster stock anyways, they're worth more stock anyways, it's a better car. His, I'm pretty sure, is a salvage title, and it has been beaten up a lot though, so I will say it's worth probably less than normal. I'm gonna say it's worth right around 10K, which is still kind of ridiculous, but it should be less. But non-salvage title normal 370Zs are still going for like 20K, so. Number 10 is going to be actually Sabrina's Corvette. I know it's not technically his car, but we're going to include it because it's on the channel all the time. I want to just say that I love that she's starting to get into the car world. I think it's really cool to include your significant other in your hobbies and have like both sides be so supportive. So watching those videos is always a good time. It's nice to see that they have a happy relationship. However, I just think it has a long way to go to be able to be comparative to some of TJ's other insane builds. It is a literal supercar though, so I'm going to say it's probably worth 90K. And I do understand that she's not the biggest car girl out there. You know, she doesn't know everything right off the bat. So obviously she's not going to have something that's on the same level of TJ's where it's literally his job to do that. But I just have to be fair here. Numero 9, buddy. It is one of TJ's most insane builds yet. His Ford Mustang Fastback with an RB26 in it. This thing is pretty nuts, but not my favorite. It's obviously inspired by Tokyo Drift, and I'm not sure if I would do this car personally, but hey, it's not my car. People get like freaking absolute boners if you mention the old fastback Mustangs though, and I have no idea if an RB swap is going to raise or lower the value, so I'm gonna go with the same price that I found for one online of $45,000 and just hope that I'm right. It could be less because it has an RB in it, but it could be more because it has an RB in it. I have no idea. Number 8 is his wonderful Nissan 240SX S14. This is one of his newest builds on the channel, and it is absolutely just amazing, perfect build. I love the paint, I love the engine, I love the car, but most of his other cars just do something more to me, so I couldn't put it any higher. This obviously could go a lot higher for you, though. This is just my personal opinion. I am a fan of the 240SXs, but not compared to a lot of the other cars that he has. This car, however, is such an aggressive JDM car that has tons of people want, especially in this condition. So I'm going to say it's worth right around $30,000. It is a very, very well sought after car, especially how nice his is. Number 7 is going to surprise you again, most likely, but it is his other Nissan 350Z. That's like a comp drift car. This was his second car ever on the channel, at least, and he built this thing from the ground up to be an insane 2JZ swapped 800 horsepower absolute drift monster that he has done some great things in. It doesn't look that great, but no drift car does, so that makes sense. And due to the insane nature of the car and the history to it, and just knowing that like this is where, yes, the BRZ is where it really all started, but this is also like where you kind of realized, oh, okay, this guy's like in it for the long run. I would say this car is worth at least $25K. Number 6 is going to be his Toyota Supra MK5. It has its own personal wide body kit. I love this thing, and it's awesome to see how far this man has got in his YouTube career to be able to build his own wide body company and have it be successful. I think the only downside to this car is the fact that it's just a graphite color. I think if he did some huge like Street Hunters livery on it to pay homage to the first ever like Street Hunter Supra, it would be awesome to see, but they, you know, it's not my car, but the Mark V Supras are still expensive, and his is one of the first ever with a special TJ Hunt like badge on it with the first ever Street Hunters kit, so I'd say it's worth right around $50K right now, but if he held on to this car, it could be worth a lot in the future. Number 5 is going to be his Veilside RX-7 that he's in the process of building right now. Obviously, this car is not done, but when it is, it's going to be amazing. You can already tell. And I love the RX-7 anyways. The FD RX-7 is one of my favorite cars in the world. Spoiler alert, it is my favorite car in the world. But these things are stupid money, and with a Veilside kit on it, it's going to be even more. So I'm going to say it's worth right around $50K. Keep in mind, yes, I know that's the same as the Mark V Supra I just talked about, but this is a car from the 90s, so that's a little bit worse. Number 4 is the car that truly started it all for him, that still to this day holds up with the rest of his fleet. It is Miley, his Subaru BRZ first generation. This thing has an absolutely huge Rocket Bunny wide body kit on it. It's turbocharged, it goes through motors absolutely fast as hell, and it's just an all-around great car. On top of that, the car holds lots and lots of sentimental value to TJ, obviously, so I'm sure to him it's absolutely priceless, my bad. But to the rest of the world, without the fact that it's, you know, TJ's first ever car, I'd say it's worth $25K. Third place is going to be to his Toyota Supra Mark IV. Probably his most influential car on the channel, I'd say. I mean, everybody out there wants a Mark IV Supra at some point, and his is a very nicely built one too. It's a bit basic for sure, but basic works, okay? Basic's not a bad thing. I hate how people think like basic is so bad. As we all know, the Mark IV Supra are stupid money nowadays, and the added bonus of being already so powerful and already modified anyway, with TJ Hunt's greasy hands all over it, the car's got to be worth at least $100K. I would say it's probably even more than that, but we're just going to go with $100K to play it safe. Second place is going to be his Chevy Corvette C8 with his own personal wide body kit once again. This is the second car that he put a wide body kit on that was built by him and his team only, and I think they absolutely nailed it. I like their wide body kit the best out of all the C8 Corvette wide body kits, and the car is just so freaking beautiful. On top of that, it is twin turbocharged and makes huge, insane, nuts, ridiculous, miraculous power. The car was a first in so many ways for not only TJ but for the C8 platform as a whole, and for that I think it's worth right around $110K. But first place is going to be his wonderful Mazda RX-7 FD that he built when he was still kind of starting on YouTube, and was the build that I watched him the most on for sure. I watched this guy all the time when he was building the FD RX-7. My dream car is an FD RX-7, as you guys probably know, and while I don't agree 100% on the mods that he's done to his, just because I have such a very select mod list that I want to do when I get an FD. It is still an absolutely amazingly built car that I can't knock down at all. Huge props to TJ on that build, and due to the parts on the car being all like very real parts, and the car itself, I'd say it's easily worth $50,000, but I don't think TJ's ever going to sell this car. It means a lot to him, I'm sure. But god, man, TJ, congrats on the FD. I hate the headlights though. Just go back to the pop-up headlights, they're so cool. So at the end of the day, TJ has done a lot and lots of heavily modded cars in the past, and they're all very unique and cool in their own way. And to be honest with you, TJ has probably spent a lot more on the cars than they're actually worth at the end of the day, because mods don't really add value that much. But based off of my research and opinions, TJ Hunt has a collection of 16 cars total, which total around $727,000, which is insane from a guy who was adding Tron liveries to a Subaru BRZ in his friend's driveway. So congrats, TJ. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more. Let me know another celebrity that you want to do. Obviously, we're going to be doing YouTubers here, so probably going to be like Adam LZ, maybe Manny Koshman or something like that. I don't know. We'll figure out who to do next, but let me know who you'd like to see on the celeb cars list ranking, how much it's worth, whatever you want to call it. We did Andrew Tate, now we're doing TJ Hunt. We'll do somebody else next. But yeah, let me know if you guys like this series. Tomorrow is going to be a top 15 underrated rally cars. That's what it's going to be tomorrow. I'm excited to make that. So get ready, turn those post notifications on, son, and Das Vidania. Have a nice night.